fixed.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. I'm sitting down again with Nate because we got great feedback off the last show of, I suppose, having someone to banter with instead of me sitting in my living room talking to myself over and over. So we're going to go through a couple of the questions that we got on Instagram and a couple of the things that came up from last week as well. So I got a load of people feeding back. Yeah, right. Yeah,
Fixing the posture. I'm getting into a bad habit there.
Sit back like this,
yes.
Shoulders back.
There we go. Straight and proper.
We got some great feedback off last week. Just a discussion about training and talking about how we've been kind of combating our discipline issues over the lockdown. So a lot of stuff came up with that. I got a lot of great content, a good bit of email chatter actually as well, which is always great to get. I personally prefer emails to getting messages because emails people tend to go in quite detailed and give me a bit of backstory, and it's always nice to hear that. And I think communication generally, Nathan, just to moan and be an owl fella for a second, it's become too short. If it's not said in 2 sentences, people get bored and tired. So, but I like hearing. I like talking.
Yeah, feedback. You know what I mean? Proper feedback.
Well, listen, we're going to get into. I'll show you. I've got a couple of comments from last week that I wanted to let you. There's one in particular on YouTube. Sorry, I should prefer it. It's like, once again, the veil of professionalism drops away fairly quickly. Oh, bugger, I'm about to play the video. Okay. That's not what I want. Alright. Oh, here it is. So some dude called Pablo says, Nathan versus Volkanovski 2022. Let's make it happen.
We'll see.
Alright. That's good to have ambition, isn't it?
We'll see.
Sometimes I think...
anything can happen.
Yeah, anything
if you put your mind to it.
Anything can happen. I sometimes think people are a little bit unambitious.
No, definitely that's where I want to be in the future. If I'm not at that level by the time I'm there, then I don't think I've done my job properly. So that's
maybe not 2022, but 2023, 24. 2 years.
We'll see. Yeah.
5, 6 fights time.
Just keep improving for now.
What's his name's record? It's not great. It's not long. Sean O'Malley.
I actually don't know.
I don't think he's
like 5 and something maybe.
Yeah, I think he's got like 8, 9 fights. I don't think he's got.
No, yeah. So I think he lost 1 fight. So maybe he's about 8, 9 and 1. Check that out there.
Hold on there.
I was thinking of him. He got finished by a man, Tayto Verde, is it?
Tayto Verde, yeah.
Tayto Verde, yeah.
He's good, man. Oh, he's 12 and 1.
12 and 1.
Oh, he's 13 fights. So how many you got? You got 4 after this next one?
4, yeah.
It's not a long way away. I was thinking of somebody else then, was I? I wasn't thinking of Sean O'Malley. There's someone in there and he's like, is it Chase Hooper?
Chase Hooper,
yes, sorry.
He actually,
he looks like 12.
I don't know if he got cut or not. Is he still fighting with them?
Did he get cut?
I don't know. Check that out there if he got cut. I don't know if he possibly didn't, but
I still have him. He still has him here as on the roster.
Oh, well, then I'd say he is, because I was watching someone UFC Fight Pass and it was him on it. I think it was just an old event though or something like that.
But, do you want to guess at his record before I pull it up?
I think he's 4 and 1 or something, is he?
Let's have a look. Yes, I accept cookies forever.
Yes.
Oh, he's 10 and 1.
10 and 1. Jeez, I'm well off, so I don't be following anyone else.
Wait a minute, did he not only compete? Did he not start in the UFC 4 fights ago? So was he only 6 and?
If I try to say something, I'll be just.
I think he was 6 and 0 when he started. Anyway, doesn't matter. What I'm saying is that you're only like.
You're only a fight or so away. You know what I mean?
And like, even when you look at some of those guys who go like 20, 25 fights in really minor promotions, and you think to yourself, those guys are journeymen, and then suddenly they have a breakthrough fight, something that really helps them go. Yeah, man, Davey Grant at the weekend.
Yeah.
There he is, knocking lads out. We may put up on Twitter a picture of him knocking some dude out in 2011, so again on a regional promotion.
Yeah.
So those guys,
Your path finds itself in the end. You know what I mean? If you're fully committed through to something, it'll work out in the end, because that's what your whole life is dedicated. Well, I'm just speaking on perspective myself. Like, my whole life is prepared to get me to a stage. I'm focusing on everything to try to get me to that stage. So that's like, no matter what I do, that's always where I want to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's good to have dreams, that's what I mean. I think people, especially Irish people, were very down on that kind of ambition.
Yeah, I think it's lost very at a young age. You know what I mean? Because I just think when lads start hanging out with their mates a bit more and stuff like that, you tend, like, as you get older with your mates, more or less what I'm saying is, I found I'm just noticing things going around the area that people who did have these dreams and ambitions will always tend to take a handy, stay in the comfort zone, and then chill out with their mates. You know what I mean? Having fun in their lives, they're probably having a fun life. You know what I mean? Instead of
yeah.
maybe just sacrificing some things and just going all out for your dream. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And just
yeah.
why not try it? You know what I mean? Or why not dedicate your life to something and
I
see
don't know.
how far you go? Like,
I always said like I've never followed my dreams because my dreams are horrific. Like there's one in which like my auntie turned into a wolf and ate me from years ago.
well, I'll tell you a mad dream I had. I don't know.
Okay,
This is a
This is the weirdest podcast.
This
ever.
is
It's
the
not gonna
weirdest
go well.
dream.
Okay,
This was a reoccurring dream as well. Mine
Okay.
I had. I was in this car that was broken down on like a desert Vegas road, and then a priest with a knife was chasing me. So
Okay.
he was coming towards the car, held a knife. I got out of the car and run. It's just one of them dreams where I can't get away
slow.
from. Yeah, it was just, and I had that about 3 or 4 times.
That's a dream about erectile dysfunction.
That explains it. That explains it. Oh, stop.
I had
I wonder why I was having them problems.
I had. Do you know the supplement ZMA? Do you know ZMA?
Yeah.
It's zinc, magnesium, and I can't remember. It doesn't matter now. Yeah. So ZMA is like a sleep enhancer. So you take zinc anyway before bed, and you will sleep deeper. But one of the things that starts to happen is you have to start to have very intense dreams because you're in REM sleep for longer.
Okay.
And apparently, you tend to remember your dreams a bit better as well. I was never one of those people who remembered their dreams.
I always remembered my dreams.
I never did.
Always.
But the best one that I had, and it's still like I still talk about it. It was like I had like the most. I woke up going, okay, like I'm not entirely convinced that didn't happen. I know that didn't happen. I'm still not convinced.
I'm not
so
so
real.
That it wasn't a dream.
It was like a dream within a dream, and I can't believe we're talking about our dreams here for ages. But I had to go around and collect ball bearings.
Yeah, I know the ones.
Because there was a shortage of ball bearings in the world, and I had to go around and collect ball bearings.
Salvage of every ball bearing.
People couldn't make MRI machines anymore. There was MRIs where because they're spinning things in MRIs or CAT scans or whatever it was, and it was Joan Allen out of the Bourne Identity. It was like, Jason Bourne. She was like tasking me with the job. So I went around, and how I did it was I went over and like punched kids and took fidget spinners off them and took the bearings down. I was delivering them back to Joan Allen, right? And then it was like halfway through the dream I went, hold on, this is a dream, because that's messed up. I wouldn't go around like, what are you talking about? This is ridiculous. And I woke up, and I was in the Louvre staring at a painting of me handing Joan Allen ball bearings, right?
Yeah.
And I went, of course, I'm daydreaming, I'm in the Louvre, and I went, hold on, this is another dream, and I had to wake up, and I woke up in my real, and I was like, wait, what, this one's a dream as well? I was like, but there
that's
you go.
proper
It was like Inception. I was like, that was a crazy freaky dream. So take ZMA if you want crazy, remarkable dreams like that. I can't believe we just spent 10 minutes
that's
on
actually.
I'm sorry.
Find out we usually go off topic, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. Here we go. So there we go. Crazy dream. We're actually talking. What actually pulled that one up was your dream about Volkanovski, or
okay,
your dream.
that's what.
There we go. That's what's.
Well, yeah, one day that will. Well, not, hopefully Volkanovski's still around by then. But
we'll see.
If he is,
maybe retirement fight for him.
Yeah.
This channel needs 50% more Nathan and 20% less Barry.
Ouch. Thank you, whoever said that.
Well, the username is Kurt Benoit. I don't think it's the real.
If I speak, I am in trouble. If I speak, I'm in trouble.
I'm going to go ahead and say that's Martin Ward. I think that is. I'm nearly certain.
Yeah, putting the rest in
Okay,
there.
I'm going to go ahead and say that. For questions this week, we have a couple of bits and pieces. I'm going to pull them up actually on the instant because a couple of them I had them written down just in terms of topics, but I'm going to actually bring them up because some of them are long. There's one about women's self-defense, which I'm going to deal with in a sec. That's about the 9th one of those.
I'd like to talk about that myself, I would.
Yeah, but it's a difficult topic to talk about. We'll have maybe a quick chat about that at the end. We'll try not to put our foot in it. Okay, this is what I like actually, because it's 2 parts. It's literally somebody has sent 2 parts here. This is from Ryan. So, God, I can't pick it up. Sorry. I can't see all of it because it's. I'd like to hear more about Nathan's diet when cutting. How does he get over cravings?
This is a good
Even
question.
when there's a multi-pack of Tayto in the cupboard. What's a very specific one, right? Even when there's a multi-pack of Tayto. What if he doesn't like Tayto?
I'm a king man, Ryan. I'm a king man.
Cravings. I used to get terrible cravings and I still get terrible cravings when I'm on restricted diets when I'm trying to cut.
Yeah.
I eat really, really well during the day. I'll eat really, really healthy, and then for no reason,
About 7 to 10 o'clock, you'd say.
yeah, for no reason, I'm full of food. I'm plenty full for no reason other than like a mental reason. Obviously, I crave sugar and I'm craving like something sweet. How do you get over it? Do you just sack up?
Um, I normally try to find something to eat. If I do crave it, I don't stop myself from eating. But if I crave it, I'll still space my time out. You know what I mean? So just say if I, so my the routine I was in, I'll be waking up, I have my breakfast at 8, train at 11, come home and train and have something to eat about 2 o'clock maybe, half 1, 2. And then if I got cravings maybe from 2, I'd probably just get like fruit, Greek yogurt and something, and maybe break up some dark chocolate actually. That's a nice one because it's heavy on the gut when you eat that.
Dark chocolate's good.
Yeah, it's heavy on the gut.
You can only eat so much.
Yeah, when I eat, I'm like, right, that's actually me done. Then I'll probably train, and then I'll eat again after training. But once I eat after training in the night time, that's when I have to stop. See, I would be one for tucking into the press. You know what I mean? Sneaking out and getting an hour biscuit out of the press.
Out of sight, out of mind as well. If you don't shop it, you won't eat it.
I don't. I haven't bought any. I only bought what I need. You know what I mean? And because that's what I said, if you buy that stuff, you're gonna tuck into it. It's just so why would you set yourself up for failure? So that's my thing in it. But I'd say mainly fruit. I get stuck into fruit for cravings because it's, even though it's still sugar, but your stomach breaks it down differently, and it does, your metabolism works on it in a different way than what it would be if it was like
straight up sugar.
Made up sugar.
Yeah, straight in sugar. I had 3 things I used to do: raisins. The small box of raisins I bought. So a real sugary urge. I got a little box of raisins.
They're not too unhealthy, do you know?
Mini Kinder bars. Tiny little ones.
They're serious now.
Alright, I'll tell you, this is do you know the ones I'm talking about? The ones that are only about that big. This is embarrassing actually, but it used to be so bad because I knew what I would do is if I went up and I had like one, I'd end up just having because they were really tiny. But what I would do is I would leave one,
it's gone.
and then I'd give the rest to him, or I'd say like,
you have one, because then you're not.
I leave one out for myself.
Yeah, that's sometimes.
No, I'd give them like hiding a handbag or hiding the press on it.
Okay.
So you have to hide them around the house.
So you have to find them.
And the other thing that I used to use as well was, so I just lost my train of thought. Raisins, mini Kinders, and for sugar cravings, I used to do one more thing. I can't remember. I'll remember in a sec. But like I had like things planned. Oh, it was dark chocolate. Sorry, dark chocolate.
Do you know what I like actually? It's honey. I like honey if I'm craving a bit of sugar.
Again, it's not something you'll overdo.
Just a little squirt, maybe in my porridge or.
Yeah.
Like I'll add it in my porridge every morning so that I'm not craving them things. Like it's not much in it. I just put it in with a bit of banana or with blueberry or whatever. Throw me chia seeds on, and then that's my porridge. That's my breakfast done. You know what I mean? And
there's some really interesting stuff there about if you're bothered to look it up actually, Ryan, or if you're bothered whoever's watching, there is some stuff about fruit pulp and the fibre in fruit and how your body breaks it down in conjunction with the sugar. So some of the things about supplementation is that a lot of like dietitians and nutritionists will tell you, like, and especially the nutritional scientists, the people who kind of go really granular and really deep into it, they'll say there's something in like the enzymes, the chewing as well, mastication.
No.
Yes.
For the kids out there.
That like it helps you break down the food and in the end makes it much healthier even just in the process of chewing. Never mind what's in it.
So. That's I don't know what the enzyme is now. I know when you're
talking. There's something that's developed during chewing and then eventually.
Because I've learned about it. I have learned about it, but I can't remember the actual.
It's in there somewhere.
It's in there somewhere.
It is in there. Like I said, we were saying last week about nutrition. I don't go too deep on nutrition. I just kind of stick to the basics. But there is something out there if you are interested. It is very interesting on fruit actually and how your body breaks down simple sugars and fruit. Basically, I remember like sitting in a nutritionist. In a talk actually about a bunch of footballers, and I was sitting at the back kind of doodling on my phone, and the best thing that he said was he's turning around and he was like trying to get points across, and guys were like sticking their hand up all the time and asking, and what about like straight after training, and what about when could I eat this, like, but I'm seriously into sugar, and there's other guys who are super serious, and he just turned around and he went, guys, listen to me, 30 minutes before training, 30 minutes after, or it's on your arse. That's it. There's no other way around it. 30 minutes before, 30 minutes after, or it's on your ass. It goes on
For
straight
sugar
into
now.
your ass for sugar,
Right.
sugar breakdown. And it was the easiest thing and the simplest thing. And then I like paid attention after that. I was like, okay, get my notes out now. You know.
It's 30 minutes to get that glycogen back in the muscles. Basically, that's what
Yeah, basically
quickly.
30 minutes, and it's going to help with your recovery, right?
Yeah,
as well. So yeah. But cravings wise, then out of sight, out of mind, or
out of sight, out of mind, or else fruit. I like you said, it's good, it's health, and it's refreshing. I like it. Like fruit, fresh fruit, maybe some melon.
he seems to be
Blueberries.
craving.
Do you know what? Actually, I actually like. This would be one snack I do like now: rice cake with peanut butter and blueberries. Blueberries, or else banana. That's one snack I'll have, and it's.
I'm going to rock your world now. I'm going to go raisins again.
It's not too much calories, but it's calorie
Dark
enough.
chocolate rice cake, spread of peanut butter, sprinkle of raisins.
I don't know about the raisins
It's
now.
good.
I've been getting the crunchy peanut butter, so I have a bit of.
Sorry, while we're talking about it, so do you remember last week I was giving you, what did I give you last week? I gave you the flapjack.
Yeah.
This is, dip your finger in that, that's for you. Right, come on. I know it's in a sun-dried
It's a mousse, is it?
It's not mousse. Go on, tell me what it is after you.
Is that like. Is that fudge?
No, it's homemade Nutella. That's my
Fuck off.
Nutella, that is. Get in there.
How'd you do that?
So as like we were saying last week, don't go too heavy on that. Alright. The recipe is
That's dangerous. That is.
hazelnuts, ground up hazelnuts in the food processor. I got a new food
some
processor.
man, I tell you.
Italian. Hazelnuts, double cream, double cream.
I'm actually fucking shocked at this. I'm not even messing with you, buddy. I'm talking about sugar.
Caster sugar
Wow.
and dark chocolate. So that's 78%. That's real dark chocolate. That's green and black
very
chocolate.
nice, and it's light. It's light and like it's.
It's not too bad actually. It's not too sugar heavy. You've got 40 grams of sugar in the whole recipe.
It tastes like proper fresh hazelnut, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah.
Like I know hazelnut Nutella obviously does taste of hazelnut, but that tastes like there's a good load of hazelnut. Yeah.
But again, like when we were talking about snacking, it's a good thing we actually did bring it up. And I only got that question actually after I'd made the stuff today. But snacking wise, you keep eating that well there. Not too much now. I'm telling you, it's heavy enough. So I stick to sweet stuff like it's cocoa rather than sugar. So like over the percentage there in the dark chocolate, like over 70% sugar.
Cocoa is sugary in itself, is it?
It's slightly sugary in itself, but that's what gives it that flavour. The chocolate flavour is the cocoa. But essentially, if this is the chart of chocolate, the higher the sugar, the lower the cocoa content, the higher the sugar content.
Okay.
So when you're talking about darker chocolate, it tends to be less sugar. So it's a healthier snack. Favorite protein snacks, quick protein, because Ryan seems to be
protein snacks. I don't know. I'd probably just get a little protein bar or something, just something handy like that. But I try not to delve in them because they mess with stomach a bit much.
I think that's like for me. Every time I look at protein bars, I read the back of them and I go, "This is chocolate."
It's like a chewing gum.
Kidding ourselves.
It's chocolate chewing gum. You know what I mean?
I don't like them. You're saying the same level about protein balls. I can't stand them.
I know. I like the girl protein bars now. For protein snacks, I don't think I do much protein snacks. No. Like I take BCAAs after I train and stuff like that, so I think my protein is accounted for through me food and me supplementation. So like I don't feel I only maybe do a carby snack just to get.
I like cottage cheese, hummus. Do you eat cottage cheese?
I do like hummus now, and the cottage cheese. I haven't had it enough to like. I've only had it the odd time. You know what I mean?
I dip a cracker in cottage cheese.
Is it anything like feta cheese? Is it anything like?
No, it's much milder. It's some people actually less than the taste. They don't like the texture.
It's just watery, is it?
Yeah, it's quite watery and it's quite.
I just know from in work when they bust a bit, it's really like leaky and you get to your finger and you're like, oh, what the fuck is
that? It is nice. It's an acquired taste, I suppose. But again, I know lads again. It's cottage cheese and Nutella.
Do you know what? A lot of weightlifting lads are mad into that.
Yeah.
All the lads
well, that's where I got it from. It's because it's a casein protein as well, so it's slow absorption overnight. So if you have it 11 o'clock at night before bed, it helps you sleep for one. A nice deep sleep out of it, but and also it breaks down slow.
Dirty like at night time, but to keep you awake.
Yeah, well, there's milk is a natural sedative, for example.
Is it? Yeah.
It's warm.
Because it knocks the fuck out.
Warm milk, yeah.
Big fat belly full of milk inside out.
That's what it is. So there you go, Ryan. That's how Nate gets over cravings. He doesn't. He just lashes into them apparently. Yeah, he just gets stuck in.
Do you know what?
We better give a shout out to Gary. Hello, Gary. Here's your shout out. Hi. What's the story?
Part of the reason is I think some people get more calories in than me anyway throughout their day. So I think like my calorie intake probably isn't as high as what it should be. So the fruit from me, it's no problem for me to eat that. I feel, you know what I mean? Because my calorie output to me calorie input is good in its own way. It works for me. So
I'm just going to pull up our next topic here. So thank you very much for the question. I've got a couple more things that I did get a couple of questions, but we'll deal with the end because one of them is we want to maybe only spend a couple of minutes on. So we were actually on to talk today about like our main sort of subject we were going to deal with today was actually marginal gains. So the concept of marginal gains, guys, in case you haven't heard of it, so just really quickly explain, is everybody's always looking for those 1% things. So I sent Nathan a really good thread on this about marginal gains and about how people are always seeking that edge. So the 1% edge, for example, in their nutrition, in their snacking, in their sleeping, and anything like that. And they're looking for like if it comes to gym exercises, for example, just to think of the simpler things like strength and conditioning. Like, so they say things like, well, okay, rather than doing the regular bench press, I'm going to do the banded bench press, or I'm going to use chains, or I'm going to use this. And the concept we were talking about was that everybody's kind of looking for those 1%, but they forget about the other 99, and the other 99 are your basics. So one of the things that I say an awful lot to people, and if you train here, you've probably heard this before. When people come up and ask me questions, my first answer is, how much are you doing? How much are you doing? And of course, I'm one of those annoying people who answer questions with other questions. But when people say, well, I'm struggling with this, I say, okay, just do more. Do more what you're doing, and just do more. And just do more, I should actually probably write it on the wall, or maybe underneath our logo. Just do more. You're probably not doing enough to justify that. But still, people kind of go looking for those marginal gains, those 1%, those little things. And that's our main topic, which is what we're going to talk about. So the 1%, and I was talking to you, and you were saying like that it's all basics for you these days, isn't it?
Yeah, like my weight training is the same as what it's always been. Maybe even more basic than what it's been in the past. My sparring has kind of always been the same. Like everything is just the same. I just keep doing the same things every day, and believing in what I'm doing is the right thing, because it's all I know, you know what I mean? And I've gotten this far, so I must be working, you know what I mean? Like, why would I try change everything and throw everything of like ingrained in my brain to the side and try find these new things? Like I said, I remember I said to you, there was a time when I was looking for that kind of marginal gain, we'll say, and I was just looking for that. I was always looking to get that next level quicker, you know what I mean? And I would make up bogus reasons in my head for me to do certain things in regards to me training or whatever, and it just was not efficient for progress in my eyes. You
it's
know
a
what I
very
mean?
tempting hypothesis, isn't it? That if I change this up, I'm gonna like skyrocket.
I think the whole process of it was, I thought, because I wanted to improve, I thought if I just focused on it enough, it would work, instead of just like, and I'm trying to focus on small things, you know what I mean, instead of like just maybe focusing on like not like if I'm boxing, slipping to the right more, or instead of doing them things, I was trying to like, there was a whole scheme I had planned out in my head, you know what I mean, and each thing was gonna benefit me because of what purpose I had, and now it's stupid things. But then I was like, fuck it, I just, what am I doing? I'm wasting time here. And like we said, we just got back to the basics: strength work, drilling and sparring.
Strength training, strength conditioning, drilling, sparring.
Yeah, that's
over and over
literally
again. Good sparring, good high quality sparring, good high quality drilling over and over again.
Yeah. That's what I was saying to you about the 1%. In terms for MMA fighters or jiu-jitsu or wherever it is, what sport it is your competition. So your sparring partners will all give you something else. So maybe that 1% that you're looking for will come out sparring partner, because they will give you a new style, or they'll have their own way of sparring, their own techniques that they throw, and you have to adjust to it. So maybe them changes mid-spar, them incremental changes, is what they say, mid-spar are going to help you progress, because you're adapting to what you see and you're fighting what you see.
Especially in a multifaceted, multifaceted. I was going to say multi something else there, but I ran out of multis. Yeah. But it is a multifaceted sport that we have, like, and because we don't have, like, in the scale of sports, in the big vector, or the big continuum, I should say, of sports. Like, down at one end, you've got something like powerlifting. Weight goes up, weight goes down. Nobody moves. And down the other end, you've got something like mixed martial arts, which is okay. Anything can happen. Almost anything can happen, and all sports dotted in between. So if you're talking about the weight goes up, weight goes down sports, yeah, I can see why people add chains and add bands and add a little difference in angle in their exercise. They're training for something so specific. They're literally adding
kind of to lift things like that.
Yeah. And in one straight line and one difference in technique.
Their body is just meant to do this and that or whatever it is in that motion.
But when we have talked about ours, it's too difficult to understand where that comes from, right? So what were we talking about? We're talking about an adaptive sport. So a sport in which you have to adapt constantly and consistently.
Everyone has their own game.
Yeah.
It's a sport where everyone has their own preferences to their favourite guard that they play, stance that they have, everything. There's so many.
So you need to see as many of those people as you can. You need to experience those people.
You need to
get those are your 1%ers.
You need to get smashed by people. You know what I mean? There's no growth without struggle, and that's fact for me. I just don't think. I think if I came up and had a handy from when I first joined, I wouldn't have improved as much as I did. But I got smashed for years, dealt with it, knew that my time would come, and then it did. When I got a bit taller, grew a bit of muscle, you know what I mean? All the strength we were doing, I had to get stronger at some point. And then
some stage or other, it was going to come good.
And it maybe took 3 years to get there, 3 or 4 years to get there, but we got there. And then from there we just had success with it, you know what I mean? Because you dealt with the hard 2 years, you know what I mean? You've had that struggle.
At the end of it all, I think a lot of people don't appreciate the length of time that it takes to get good, I think, as well at things. And I don't know if that's something that's... I don't know what it's like to say. It is a quick fix world. I know it's a quick fix world where you know...
if you
have a problem, you're going to download an app for it. You know, and and that will sort me out. But I know it's like the 5 things you need to be doing. It's that kind of world. But I love the journey of it, and I like making the gains that you make through just like being persistent and consistent on the mat. So just saying, look, I'm going to turn up every single day.
Trust me, there's no better buzz to those who haven't done it yet or who ever think about doing it. Just committing yourself fully to come up every night and just experience the journey. You know what I mean? That's what it is. It's a journey. It's a spiritual journey in its own way, I think. And I might sound like a hippie, but it is. You've come up to, even when you don't even want to be on the mat, you're coming up and you're putting the work in and you're giving everything that you have just on the mat that night, just for your own self-gain, you know what I mean? And for, personally, I like the social aspect of it as well, coming up, sparring your mates, you know what I mean, having a bit of crack, you know what I mean? And
I think, did we talk about this last week? I missed that lot. I was saying that, was I? I'm really missing the social
crack,
I'm really missing the crack. I'm missing just sitting around. But for me, if you talk about I think the topic that it comes up in most often is it's never around kind of a general improvement. It's always around people saying, I'm really struggling to do this. I'm really struggling to pass guard. I'm really struggling with my takedowns. I'm really struggling with this. And it's always somebody saying, can you show me a guard pass?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, how many times do you pass guard a week? Because every time I turn around and look at you, you're sitting on your ass. You're letting people pass your guard. Yeah. So how many times do you do that a week? Can you show me a good takedown? I'm like, man, it's so hard to develop a good takedown game. You need to just stand up with more people and let them, effort and work, and just do it over time. Just do more of the basics.
I remember you gave me some, possibly many in the past, but
I'm just going to turn the heater back on.
One of the things you told me to do when we training was to stick myself in bad positions. Remember at the start, when things were in the rounds, if I was finding it I was getting the better of people, I put myself in bad situations more, so that when someone's on your back, you have to do everything right. So, and they're in a good position for them, so it was good for them to get practice as well. So they're the 1%. Do you know what I mean? Maybe
especially as you get better as well, and as you improve.
Yeah.
People go, I don't get much. I'll only train with the purple belts. I'll only train with the brown belts. And I always say to people, everybody's good when you give them a head start.
Yeah.
So give everybody a head start. If you're struggling to find quality, give the guy a head start. Yeah. So if you were racing the guy, and if you were racing 100 meters and you knew you were quicker than them, give him 10 meters ahead of you, and now you got a race.
Yeah.
So put him on your back.
Yeah, I remember it helped me a lot. Now they were the things you're adapting to a bad situation from the second that time ago. You know what I mean? And it helps you switch on.
Don't get me wrong. The problem with there is, what do people like to do? They like to come up and smash people for an hour. It's like, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
here's this guy who I know I can beat, so I'm going to beat him up.
Yeah.
And it's going to be great. And I'll go home full of, did you see
yeah,
what I did, kids?
To be honest, I was one of them people for many years, so I was sitting there.
We've all been that soldier.
I was sitting there as if like that's me.
But we've all been that soldier. But like equally, if you drop the ego,
no,
I know it's said a lot,
yeah,
to drop the ego.
I think like the ego thing is there, and I think even just dropping your level for others will bring others' levels up, because if I, for example, if I'm going with a blue purple belt, say who I know is only maybe a fresh purple belt or a good experienced blue belt, if I'm just smashing them, they don't get anything from it, and I don't get anything from it because I'm not testing someone who's testing me. So I just more open my mind, give them opportunities, like maybe leave out an arm, let them react, give them a reaction from that reaction, and play with, like, I might sound real like smug and say, but play with them a bit, you know what I mean? Give them something to react to, and then.
Well, then everybody gets trained.
Because the reason is, when you do that, there's like a chain reaction of positions, and I feel because I'm leading them, I know what it's going to end up as. So then I'm working down for a position that I'm going to end up, because I'm putting myself in that position. So it's good, like it's good. It's a chain link of moves to get into them positions, and we're both moving constantly. It's good to do it. Like, I
remember, I'm going to paraphrase someone. So this is a second-hand story. So this is Ryan Smith from Sligo. You know Ryan? Yeah. Black belt, really good black belt up in Sligo, from Alliance in Sligo. He has Cobrinha over, and Cobrinha has been there, done that. Bought the t-shirt, owned the t-shirt, did his the Super Grand Slam or the Super Double, whatever. He won the ADCCs and the Worlds in the 1 year, and like, so he's been there and done that. And if you haven't seen Cobrinha, he's an absolute legend of this sport. He also happens to be one of the nicest people you meet. He's a really, really nice guy, really giving of his time, very generous with his time, and very
appreciative of you even want to be around them, like one of them.
Yeah, and he does a lot of stuff for free. Even during the lockdown there, actually, his school was closed like everybody else's. I think he's in Florida, and his school was obviously closed, same as everybody else's. And he was putting a lot of stuff out for free, a lot of capoeira
stuff. Good content.
And his son is serious, Kennedy Maciel.
I've actually heard of Kennedy.
His son's
Kennedy,
he's unreal. But he's training his dad's way now at the moment. But anyway, look, I digress once again. At least we're not talking about my John Allen dream, so at least we're moving on.
Well off topic.
So Cobrinha gave a speech in Ryan's gym about the training environment and but it was actually it was for the benefit of the higher belts, the brown and black belts who were coming in, purple belts, high level purple belts, who were coming in and kind of having to defend their honor. So I've said the same thing to people here as well. You shouldn't have to come up every night and think, oh Christ, here comes this guy. I'm gonna have to like if I'm a brown belt, black belt, I'm gonna have to like really switch it on because this guy's trying to butcher me every time. It's like he's gonna take my scalp, and so you shouldn't have to let that happen. So,
is it a case of you doing that, or not them not hunting the black belt?
Exactly. So I have to turn around to them and say, look, I want to get something out of this roll. I don't want to have to like smash. I know I can smash you because like I'm
a different level of experience.
There's a level of experience here, but I don't want to do that. I'd sooner have a good training session, a good round for me and you. So I'd sooner give you a head start and not have you like pull my face when you're trying to choke me. I'd sooner see you try to do something and not like be hyper aggressive. And that way you're going to learn how to go through the right things. I'm going to get something out of this round as well.
No, 100%.
And but it was specifically about brown and black belts who have now hit like that experience level and giving them a break, because usually when people go in it's like, oh, listen, we were all beginners once, but he actually came in and kind of gave a speech that was essentially, well, when you're advanced it's difficult too. So it was something like it was something for everybody, and it makes a really good training environment as well. And I'm always trying to get it across to people here, like, that if you are like, you come out and you face up to somebody and it's a guy black belt, give it your best, but don't be an idiot, because you come out and you're trying to be an idiot. The guy is actually going to have to be like,
play good and smart jiu-jitsu.
I'm not going to get hurt,
Yeah, you don't have to go Mongo if you play good, fast, smart jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean?
Mongo like candy.
Yeah,
that's I know, it's just...
It's easy to get drawn into them types of spars, because there's just the ego. Like, if there is two egos, you know what I mean? And like, actually, like, even if it's not too, like, antsy, you know what I mean? If it's not like a grudgeful ego towards the sparring partner. If someone's a bit more Spartan, like, and they're up the pace, you will up the pace, you know what I mean? doesn't have to be aggressive though. It can be a good fast pace, like, but still be good and technical.
But
I mean, I don't think.
and to swing it back around, I suppose, to our 1% thing that we were talking about, like, if you want to talk about serious gains, it sounded like writing from Muscle and Fitness magazine there. So if you want to talk about gains, like your gains on the mat, and as in how you're going to gain and improve yourself over time, I'm going to go ahead and say, it doesn't matter, right, I'm going to make a bold, very bold statement now, and this is something I genuinely believe. The coach doesn't matter what I do or what I say or what I teach. The material that I teach almost doesn't matter unless it's terrible, right, and it's out of date.
It does matter.
Awful,
it does
right?
matter.
It matters,
it
unless
does
it's
matter.
awful.
Because you're ingraining your things in your head, you know what I mean?
I'm going to go ahead. Let me finish, and then I'll say it all matters, like, to some degree, right? So coach doesn't matter. Whatever I'm teaching doesn't matter. Your sparring partners will matter, of course. That will all matter. I'm going to say that to make real improvements, the most important thing is actually the ethos on the mat, so of the class. So what are we here to do? Why are we here to do it? And the hows will come out of that. So they'll actually develop out of that. So the actual little bits there will come out of that.
No,
so if you've got a class that's willing to get in and work hard all the time and not just like DOS for like an hour and a half, if you've got a class that's focused on one goal where it's like, okay, today we're doing side control and side control top, say for example, because what happens in a bad atmosphere, if we're doing side control top, I come in, take side control top and you, and the first thing I do is go, well, my favorite position is mount, so I'm going to step to mount straight away. And now I'm a dick because I'm like completely ruining the focus and the goal of the class, because in the name of my success, my own personal success for the evening, I'm going to go do the mount position and I'm going to do that. So I almost think that the ethos of the class, that kind of willingness to work together, a friendly atmosphere, an atmosphere of like back and forth, that's and hard work, like, but proper hard work, focused work.
No, I meant
almost
that,
more important than.
I meant the hard. If someone doesn't work hard or isn't working hard, I lose respect in my own way. I mean that literally. You know what I mean? I'm only messing it, but I'll have that like, come on, man. You know what I mean? Just work. Like, don't, like, I know obviously people are tired and do everything else, but like, if you come up, just give it everything. Fuck if you're tired. You know what I mean? Like this, we're here to be tired together. You know what I mean? This is a part of it. Like it's.
Yeah, and I think like again, a good atmosphere drags those people up.
Yeah, it does. 100%.
A bad atmosphere, they either leave it or just.
They won't. People who aren't in the atmosphere of like, because we know what the atmosphere is like in the club. If people are not that, they won't stick around. You know what I mean? So.
Well, I think like here, I think we've got a nice friendly kind of place where we kind of.
Anyone can come in here.
Again, I'm kind of saying like. I'm saying this as somebody who runs it, so I guess people are going to go, yeah, of course you would say that. But what I like and what we've always tried to do for a long time is make it really accessible, but also bring somebody, because a lot of times people aren't lazy, they're just nervous. A lot of people would say, oh, you know, he won't do this because he doesn't want to, and I would say, well, no, I think he doesn't do it because he can't.
Yeah.
So
he's mentally blocked.
Yeah, he can't do it, but he can't do it yet. So when you can work hard, I think you will. And I think the most important thing is to try to create that atmosphere. And it's like I say, it's almost more important what you're teaching or who's teaching you. And obviously those two things will make a difference. But for me, the most important thing is, again, it's that atmosphere of like, we're here to learn, we're here to work hard.
The person who's coming up wanting to be here, as opposed to feeling that they have to be there. You know what I mean? I think that's what separates those who go to there quicker. Because when you have it, when you want to be there, and you're enjoying it, and you're feeling you're seeing the changes, and you're seeing the progression, it gets addictive. You know what I mean? It does become addictive. I remember C was mentioning it with competition. She was saying, she gave a very good kind of take on it, is like that when you do start doing it and you get the adrenaline buzz and you see progression, you feel yourself improving. It's just that's how I agree with that, because personally speaking, it's one of the best feelings I've ever had in my life. You know what I mean? Looking at it from a self-reflective like point of view, and looking at, I remember my first day ever in the gym. You know what I mean? It was Paddy Ivor's Thai class. I was talking to myself during the class, and I was like, I'm doing this for the rest of my life. And that's I was 13 years old, and I decided on that day that's what I wanted to do. I was only 13, you know what I mean? And I never changed. That from that day, it never changed. So I'm still here now, and seeing all that stuff happen, and seeing my progress through competition and winning, losing, all them mixed emotions, and how low I felt when I was losing, how high I felt when I was winning, all that stuff. It's surreal. I can't even explain the rush you get from it. And looking back now, like, I'm actually getting a bit goosebumps because you're thinking, because it's quality. And I'd like to see people get the best out of themselves. So I just wish more people did it, like did them, like committed all the way, and then just so they have that experience. So when they do finish it at that certain point, they can look back and say, like, look what I've become because of what I've done and what I've committed myself to. Now, everyone has their own different preferences.
There's that great Chris Arthur quote that I always put up whenever I'm kind of like putting up for promotions or anything like that, which is, you're going to be something in 10 years time, why not also be a black belt?
Yeah.
Which is like, it's a brilliant quote, because
I actually remember you saying that to me
years
ago.
And it's like, why not also be? He's a great talker, he's a great speaker. Chris Hauter, Hauter, if you want to look him up. He's got a lot of great things where he does at seminars, and people almost come to those seminars not to see him train and teach, but almost to see him speak, because he is a very good speaker. But he and actually sometimes you listen to him and you go, do you know, I feel like go training. I'm gonna go train. If you're ever feeling a bit like, you know, I'm a bit demotivated. We spoke about motivation last week, but he definitely does. He makes you want to train, and he's a very inspirational kind of guy. But that was one of his things. Like, it doesn't matter whether you're a natural athlete. It doesn't matter whether you're here to like do it like part time, whether you're here to do it like as a pro, whether you're gonna be like an MMA fighter, or you're just, as long as you're there, keep showing up every day. As long as you're there. And lo and behold, like, it sounds bizarre. Lo and behold, you'll be a black belt. It sounds bizarre to speak about it now, but I never thought I'd be a jiu-jitsu black belt, because when I had when I started, there were no jiu-jitsu black belts in Ireland, right? And I think it was probably another 3 or 4 years before John Kavanagh got his, and he was the first. And then I think Graham Keys up north got his the same year. And so, but the people that I met, the only black belts I met were like world champions. Saulo Ribeiro was the first black belt I ever met, and I went, oh, multiple time world champion. Like, oh, okay. And that was a black belt. So I was like, I'm never going to be that. So in my head, that was like it. I was like, yeah. And then people started to get them, and I went, well, I'd probably still never get one. You know, I don't think I'm at that level. And lo and behold, then one day, like, someone's handing you one, and you're going, oh no.
Yeah, my time was coming.
Oh no.
What's happened? Then your black belt, the ego kicks in.
But like at the time, I remember saying, like, do you know what? No, I was like trying to convince myself, and I think I even did like an interview, like a podcast. I was saying, no. If you're around long enough, like I'm 12 years in this game, of course I should have a black belt. And like, you know, so people say, oh, you know, and I don't like false modesty when people go, oh, I was so surprised. I wasn't surprised. I kind of knew it was coming.
It's just through time.
Through time, you know, because from that. But at the same time, I was like, the pressure was like, oh my god, I can't believe this has actually happened. Yeah. But then when you actually sit back and you think about it, now, do you know what? This happens to everybody, and it's a great kind of sport in that way, in that you don't have to be hyper flexible or anything like that. You don't have to be particularly strong. You don't have to be a certain size or shape or anything like that.
Good technique.
All you got to do, yes, and you'll find something. If you find your own game and you find your own level.
You do what works for you until it works.
Exactly, yeah. And it's brilliant that way. Like, it is brilliant that way. And all you got to do is stick around.
Do it, succeed. You know what I mean? That's the way it is. Like,
I love that about it. You know, like you're saying about the path. Your path is a bit different to mine, I suppose. In that, by the time you came around to like even sort of purple belt level, I was probably a black belt at that stage, was I?
Yeah, I think you were. I think you got your purple. Yeah.
It could have been the same weekend, was it?
We got our belts, yeah.
Yeah, could have been. So like, you've got that, like,
possibly.
You had someone local to you, like someone you could see in front of you. But like, say, the only people I met were like Americans and Brazilians, and they were coming in, and it was like, oh god, the guy's black belt. Oh, he's a black belt. Oh, if you met a blue belt back then, it was like, that guy's a blue belt.
Yeah. Talk of the streets, talk of the town.
Wow, yeah, unbelievable. Yeah. So combating cravings, I like that one. I like your ideas for combating cravings. That's our 1% chat. The other one we're going to get on to, I don't know if it's spend very long. I feel very awkward. I'm going to just check and see if we've got one more question, because my Insta did beep before we move on. I'm just going to explain something real quick. No, sorry, it's just somebody writing something amusing about my camo vest earlier. We'll leave it at that. I've got like 3 or 4 requests now, and I've actually got a load of requests in over the years to record things for women's self-defense. So one of the things that's come up over the last weekend, obviously there's a lot of social media stuff going on around the tragic case in the UK.
Yeah, terrible.
And there's lots of cases in Ireland as well around it too. And it's terrible that it takes a tragic event, like a really tragic event, like a murder, for us to start talking about it, because it is something that people deal with every day. and but people ask about Windsor. I'm just going to quickly say why I'm not recording that video, because I think I've got I got 2 requests. I got an email, quite long, quite detailed as well. Thank you very much for it. I have replied to it. Hopefully you've got it. I won't say who it's from. And I put in the reasoning that I'm going to explain here in that email as well, which is that first of all, I don't think there's a video or series of videos that I could make that would be very useful for self-defense for women, for a number of reasons. The first reason is that training takes a long time, and any techniques that you would learn would not be useful like in watching a 30-second video. Even with training,
looking at a video isn't going to teach how to
yeah, fight. Even if you had a partner to train with at home, it would be very, very difficult. You'd need an experienced partner. And what Nathan was saying actually earlier really feeds into this, which is that the real way to learn is to physically feel it all the time, constantly, and with different stimulus over time. So in my opinion, there may be some stuff out there. I'm not closed off to the idea that self-defense classes couldn't be taught over a weekend. I don't think they can or should. I think you could get an introduction to one, and with a view to going on and training. But I don't think there's anything very, very useful online in terms of physical techniques. I don't think there's a lot, and I've watched a lot. In fact, I think there's a lot of fantasy online, and a lot of
hoping that what you're watching is going to be the thing that fixes your problem.
And some of the stuff, some of the material that I've seen, like,
it's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing to watch. Yeah, it shouldn't be out there. Like, there should be. And to be fair, it does get called out now.
Yeah, it does get called out. The internet don't give you any chance now.
No, there's no hiding out there. But like, still, there's a lot of delusional stuff out there as well about like, oh, this is how to get away from any attacker. And anybody who's done jiu-jitsu or anybody who's dealt with anybody in a physical confrontation would easily look at it and identify it and say, bullshit. Just won't happen.
I think
a lot of Steven Seagal kind of stuff.
Yeah, I just think, like, if you want to learn self-defense, join jiu-jitsu or wrestling or something like that.
Yeah,
because boxing, get in. Like, you don't have to, like, you're not doing it to become the best fighter. You know what I mean? You're just doing it just to have an understanding. It's not even like it's having an understanding of a fighting environment. You know what I mean? And being in, knowing that you're about to throw hands if you have to throw hands, or knowing you're about to grapple if you grapple. When you train them moments, in them moments when something might happen between a man if you're a woman, you'll understand how you can use him against himself, you know what I mean, and things like that. But I don't know, I've a little sister now, and I'm a bit protective of her, you know what I mean. So I understand where everyone's coming from with, you know what I mean, the stuff, and I wouldn't tell her this now, but I do worry, because I know fellas are creeps, you know what I mean, and I do, and it kills me, because I know that if she's gone out, there's probably like an outfit looking at her arse or something like that, you know what I mean, and perving away, and that gets to me, you know what I mean.
This is what I say to people all the time, because I know there was stupid hashtags going around there with do you see that? Not all men. I was like, yeah, not all men, everybody knows that, but enough men.
7 out of 10 men.
Yeah, enough men to know, oh jeez, I hope it's not that high, Nate, but like, enough men for it to be dangerous.
I believe it's higher than that. So, I'm just saying that to be nice, you know what I mean?
Jesus, but like I said to a friend of mine, like, recently as well, it's like, if you ask any woman over the age of 16 if they have a story about being followed home, about being stalked online, sent nudes, anything like that, they'll all have a story, or something much worse and much more serious. It's like, what bloke ever has to get in a taxi and like ring their boyfriend and say, yeah, I'm in the taxi now, or ring their girlfriend, like, I'm in the taxi now, like, I'm on my way home, or ring their dad. So, no, you don't teach young fellas. Did anyone ever say that to you? Did your mum ever say this to you, like, when you were like 18 going out into town? Now, Nathan, ring me when you get in the taxi, because I want to make sure that you're safe.
She probably would have said, ring me when you get there, or something like that. Yeah. If I was going on holiday or something, I went to Magaluf, didn't even ring her, you know what I mean? Like, ring me when you get there, gone, phone gone.
Nobody would be worried, but like, I mean, every single girl who gets in a taxi has to, like, you know, has that thing.
The anxiety.
Nobody would, no girl would walk home late at night, like, alone, or if they did, they'd be very wary.
And
so there is, like you were saying, there's enough.
My sister does go walking, and now when it was Christmas, it gets dark early, and don't be going walking in the park and all that. And I'm like, it is only the park. I'm trying to, like, let her have her freedom in her own way. I'm like, look, it's on the park. I know it seems worse, but just let her go down. Let her experience it herself. You know what I mean? If she doesn't like it, she won't go again. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, but like you can understand it. You can understand where
No,
all
I do, I
the
do.
fear is coming from and stuff like that.
I
But look,
just,
yeah, but anyway, look, I think we said we breeze over because it is a very serious topic and it's probably not for this, like, probably not suitable for this format here. But like, we,
I just think,
that's why I want
yeah,
to do it, essentially.
I just think if you want to learn, if you are worried about that, like jiu-jitsu is that place where you will be comfortable and things like that, and never to be afraid to come up to a jiu-jitsu club because they're fully, everyone on the mat is there to learn how to grapple, learn how to fight. So they're fully understanding of why you want to fight is your own thing, you know what I mean, or why you want to learn how to fight is your own thing. But once you're there on the mat, you're there to learn. So
Yeah. Yeah.
never feel like you can't come
And
into a
the,
club,
the,
boy
the
or
physical,
girl.
physical confidence is incredible. Like so,
Yeah,
like, not
100%.
freezing, and that's the number one thing. Like even forget about like whether
Knowing,
you're
like, just there's something to be said for it, just knowing everything, seeing everything, because you've seen it all before. You've seen it on the matches. You know what if someone puts their hand here, you're gonna do this, and you'll have gone through the motions. It makes you feel comfortable in your own way, like.
I think jiu-jitsu is definitely good for that. That physical confidence, you know.
Oh, jiu-jitsu is
not
great,
freezing,
honestly.
not being like a deer in the headlights when things happen. The other thing as well, I suppose, is I don't know. To finish up, we won't take anybody's time too long. How long did we do? I wonder. Oh, we've done a good long time there anyway, so that's grand. So yeah, to finish up, I suppose the other thing is what could we do in terms of women's self-defense? I have lots of things that I could say this that could go on for a long time, Nate, but I won't. I'll just do a really quick one on it. So you know, like when I do self-defense classes with kids in transition years in particular, we sit down and we talk about self-defense, and we talk about, like, you know, women having stories, etc. But we do talk in, like, for boys as well. How to avoid confrontations, in particular, how to avoid confrontations with boys. That's really what we get stuck into on the mental side of things. But the one thing that I do mention an awful lot, and again, it's a complicated thing to talk about, so we won't take too long on it. But it is around, like, people talk about culture and environment and things like that. For me, like, if someone was making suggestive remarks up here, like about women, about girls, if someone was saying something horrible or disgusting about women, they get smashed, they get murdered. And we wouldn't tolerate it anyway. I don't think it would be tolerated. And I think a lot of times in
the gym and force would be out.
They'd be out in full. And I think, so if when people talk about cultures, like, oh, it's in men's culture, and I know people don't like to hear that. They're like, oh, well, it's not all men, it's not all this. But there is a thing with blokes where we do let other blokes away with some pretty heinous behaviour, like on some occasions. So I think there is something that blokes could do for girls. I think there is something that men could do for women's self-defence, and it's probably not teach them how to do a wrist lock or a choke or anything like that. It's your phone pinging away there, really. But it's probably not that. It's probably don't accept that level of behaviour from blokes you're around, because I think blokes you're around, like, so if you hear somebody saying something about a girl, like, say, hey man, that's not cool, just shut up, like, don't be at that, leave that out. And we all know, like, what dressing rooms are like and changing rooms are like and male environments are like, but I think and again, I don't want to sound like the old fogey again, I'm going to sound like an old footy-uddy. So it's 20 something, you're right, I'm like 42, so I'm 43 this year. So in 20 something years, whatever, like 25 years from when I was 18 to when lads I know now are 18, there is definitely a difference in language, in the type of language used about women in general. And that's probably hard for you to appreciate, because you're like, what are you, 23?
Yeah.
23, so you're 20 years younger. There is definitely a huge difference in the violence in language and what men call women and how men talk about women. There's a huge difference from my generation to this current generation.
You think this generation is worse?
100%.
Yeah, definitely.
100%. And better in many ways, more understanding in many ways, very good around certain elements. But in terms of the
mass.
Yeah, in terms of the way that women are spoken about, in terms of violent language, violent sexual language, discussions around rape, discussions around, like, things like that I wouldn't be comfortable in. So, and again, it's easy for me because I turn around, I'm a confident 42-year-old man, I say, shut up, don't speak like that. And usually I'm talking to young fellas anyway, so I will literally tell them to shut up and be quiet. But I suppose that would be my advice, if you want my advice and if you want my way of changing things, which isn't worth really much, is it would be, if you see that type of behaviour, like stop it, like start to call that out, because that's the cultural change that change over time. Can you stop psychopaths? Can you stop people who are, probably not, that they're still going to be out there, but you could stop the likes of
But look, if there's a group of people there and you say it, they might see you saying it and then say to themselves, I kind of half agree with them, and then if someone else, so let's say I tell you to shut up, and you don't say anything back to me, and you go a bit suppressive, they'll see that and they'll be like, maybe I should start saying that more often.
And I think it only takes one person to say it in a group.
Just looking at me two sisters, me ma, me little niece, I swear to God, she has me heart, you know what I mean? So I just think, I don't know how like I would treat someone as if I want them all to be treated, you know what I mean? And I just don't understand how people are kind of like that, you know what I mean? I'm just not like that, so
it's horrific to contemplate.
I'm kind of glad to say that. When you're younger, when you're with the lads and stuff, you do say shit, but
there's childish things that you say as well.
When you're young and immature, you do it, but when you start to mature, you should see the sense, and like, I'm still saying that, you know what I mean?
Unfortunately, people don't.
People can't grow out of their old.
They keep their attitudes,
you know what I mean? Them attitudes, like they can't just.
But like again, I work with young men like a lot. I look an awful lot of young people and young folks, and very often the cultures and environments that they are in are not very positive in that way about girls. And as a result, when you meet them and you're forced to introduce to them, that's the attitude. And unfortunately, that attitude, if you have that attitude at a certain age and you're brought up with that attitude,
it's hard to ingrain it.
It's hard to get it out.
Can't teach an old dog new tricks, you know what I mean? It's as they say, so.
So there you go. There, we certainly won't solve that problem, but I just thought I would say something about it, because again, it is like 2 or 3 in the last couple of days. Well, it's 2 actually in the last couple of days, and over the years, I constantly get one about it. I've had a few requests to do it. I have done talks. I have done things like that. I'm never entirely comfortable doing it. Again, one of the reasons I've never
it's a hard topic to.
It's a hard topic to discuss, but I'll tell you why I'm not comfortable. It's like turning around to somebody and telling people. I caught myself one time. I was in a college, right, and I was brought in. It was a group of about probably 15 girls there, and again I was being brought in. They brought in 3 people. They brought in three instructors, and I was one of them. And I came in, and again it was like. There was a guy up, and he was very good actually. He was really good. There was another guy who got up, and he was an idiot, and I ended up having a row with him after. That's another story. Topic for another time. And then I got up and I was talking to her, and I was basically repeating what the other 2 guys had said. Make sure you don't walk home alone. Don't take those shortcuts. And I was thinking to myself, I'm saying this to these girls, but I don't do these things because I don't have to, because I'm a 6'2" man. So I don't do these things. So what sort of condescending shit is that? Oh, by the way, you're going to have to look after yourself really, really well. I don't have to. See ya, boy. Like that's basically it. Because you can tell. Like some of the girls are nodding along. You can see some of them sitting back going, "Oh yeah, big talk from you, mate." But you're not going to do that, are you? Like, so I don't know. That's another story. It's another side of things.
We're as much as we give our perspective, we're not women, and we're not. You know what I mean? So.
It's not
as much as we try to help, we still are, like, I don't know, missing some sort of perception of what actually happens, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
What you can do is kind of give an option to see that there is a way to learn how to defend yourself. And
well, do you know what? On that note, we'll finish with something positive, because Henner and Harry and Gracie get a bit of abuse online, but Henner Gracie's stuff with his wife is very good. It's on Instagram, so if you look up Henner Gracie or Gracie University.
Doing a bit of training with the missus?
He does she's a black belt as well.
Okay.
But they do a very practical series, and he gets a bit of grief in jiu-jitsu circles, but actually his self-defense stuff and his combative training for police officers and his stuff for women's self-defense is good, is quite practical. Again, it's not something like you'll watch and instantly be able to do, but I think you could see what's possible.
You can get the concept of it.
Yeah, you'll see what's possible with jiu-jitsu. It is quite good. It is. I'll put a link to it below, a link to his Instagram account, because he is quite good. With that, Nathan, what are your plans for the week? Are you back? Do you have a new date for your fight?
No new date yet. It's going to be in April or May. I don't know when the date's going to be, so I'm just toning up the diet now again. Had a nice week there of eating carbs.
Sorry for giving you that. You're having homemade Nutella now.
Actually, I forgot. Well, but after this is gone, then I'll start.
Then you'll start.
But
That's me sparingly, by the way.
Yeah,
Spread it
no,
out,
no,
so don't be lashing into
we'll go light, we'll go light. But no, I'm just gonna I have sparring now tomorrow. I'm gonna train now the whole week actually. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna be training as usual. Get stuck in. I actually have been training. I know I've been doing lifting weights and stuff, and just kind of looking after my body a bit, letting it heal in its own way, and doing some neck traction and walking and stuff, and getting rid of some niggles and stuff like that. So, but I've still been active, so I've been just eating lots of food. But I'll do that down now. Lower my portion size back down a bit, start trimming down a bit more, and then when the time comes, I actually got my MRI. I'm almost certain I passed my MRI results as far as now they sent it to me, and I had a scan of my brain. It looks healthy enough. So
and it's there.
It's there.
Yeah, so
it's not just a little peanut.
Yeah.
But no, just keep training away, and hopefully it comes April. That's preferably April. But
yeah. Fingers crossed. Well, fingers crossed we all get a little freedom in April. Yep. So, fingers crossed there'll be a little reduction in
level 4.
Level 4. Come on, the level 4. That will mean individual training here, which is good. Nate is a professional, so continued to train by the way, so he's professional in the same way that the Irish rugby team are professionals, what have you, so that's why there's he gets an exemption or a free pass. For anybody wondering, by the way, as well, because that's the one from my previous, sorry, I'm going to look up the specifics of the question. This is the last thing we'll do, I promise. It is around recognition of Irish, there's a bit of a preamble. So Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is not recognised in Ireland sport, and that's hence we can't have competitions during level 5 lockdown, blah blah blah. Okay, so what basically it's a long message, but
why isn't that recognised as a professional sport?
So I'll give you the really quick answer. So the question is generally speaking, and I've seen it kind of come up online over the last couple of days. Why can't Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu athletes is the reason that BJJ people who train BJJ can't train is because Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu isn't recognised as a sport by the government? No, that's not the reason. It's the reason that you can't train is because it's a level 5 lockdown. Basketball, for example, is recognised by the Irish government, and they still can't train, as is every other indoor sport. None of them can train. Even their elite athletes can't train. Irish basketball have an elite league, for example. They can't compete or train either. So it's nothing to do with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu being recognised or not as a sport. It wouldn't make a lick of difference one way or the other, no matter what. So the reason that you're not allowed to train, unfortunately, is because you're an amateur and you're not going for the Olympic Games or professional fight or anything else. So no tournaments can run, no competition can run. You shouldn't be training. If you are training, that's up to you. That's off your own bat. But you shouldn't be training. It is the only emergency situation hopefully you'll ever be in for your whole life. So just stick with it and
the better days have to come, you know what I mean?
2 weeks time.
We're just waiting them out, you know what I mean? So
2 weeks time. Yeah, so I think that answers the question. I've had a look at it there. I think that answers what you're asking. I think I was being asked it again because I'm like running the Irish Open and all that kind of stuff. But, sorry, nothing, no news yet. But don't worry, as soon as we're able, we'll have tournaments and competitions back up and running again. And with that, let's stop. Let's stop. Okay. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got your questions answered. Stick them in there. We'll always have the Instagram box. Stick a comment in that when you see it, when it crops up. Stick your comments in the YouTube video or anywhere you want. And if you want to see anything, hear of anything, do message us, do give us a shout, and we'll be happy to discuss it. I'm happy to go through any of your questions for training at home or whatever it is. And with that, I leave you. Enjoy your Nutella.
Oh, I am. I'm going to enjoy that. Trust me.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.